Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Gateway to Grace call. My name's Elizabeth Tobin. I'm a certified resonance repatterning practitioner, and we'll be doing a resonance repatterning group session today. So I do these calls monthly, and we've been on this theme for the last couple of months. I just want to say this is being recorded. YouTube to look at the archives, and you'll see that for the last couple of months we've been on this theme of movement. In August we started with this theme of releasing that pattern of sort of pulling back from what we want, and then last month we did the movement for life repatterning. So I'm curious to see where we'll go today, whether we're going to continue on this theme of movement or maybe there's something else. And you could think about these repatternings as kind of a continuation. It seems like each repatterning builds on the previous repatterning, and you kind of get a theme going. And then sometimes you might go into a specific topic, and then in subsequent repatternings, you'll visit that topic from a different angle. So it's like looking at a gem and looking at it through all of the different facets. And for me, that's the beauty of this process, this repatterning process, is you really get to delve deep into a pattern and shift it from lots of different angles. So today we'll see where we're going to go. We might do what I call the seed of the session, and they are kind of like the voice or the mouthpiece for everybody else in the session. So everybody's being included in the session, but there's one person that is being the voice of the group. And we might just do, like last month, we did a straight up proxy group where I just tap into the group field and do the session and get all the information from the group field. And then sometimes we might do a hybrid where maybe we start with doing just a straight up proxy session, and then we move to maybe some group input where we open up the lines and people actually voice their input. We never know where we're going to go. I call it adventures in transformation. So what I'd like to do first is just take a little moment just to center and ground and just create the space for the session. So just close your eyes and connect with your breath, breathing in and out through your nose as deeply as you can. And as you breathe in, breathe all the way down into your lower back. Fill up your belly like a balloon, expanding out at your ribs. And nice long exhales. And check in with your body. Notice any places of holding or tension. And breathe into those areas, filling them up with energy and breath and light. And as you breathe out any holding, any tension. And with each exhale, feel yourself release and relax and let go. And now bring your attention into your heart center. And as you breathe in, take in that unconditional love that flows throughout the universe. And as you breathe, send out that unconditional love that resides within you. So there's a perfect balance, a perfect exchange of energy and love on the inflow and on the outflow. And know that you're surrounded by love, both within and without. And we surround ourselves in the healing energy of divine love. Only our deepest wisdom and highest guidance come through in this session. This session brings about the highest healing, transformation, and coherence for each of our highest and best. And each one of us accepts the full benefit that this session offers. We thank our highest guidance for assisting us in this process, and we give thanks for the gift of resonance repatterning and the greater well-being made possible through this session. And so it is. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just ask your permission to include you in the group field. And when we work in a group, we're tapping into the group field with the intention of identifying those patterns that are common to everybody in the group that would be beneficial for everybody if we could shift those patterns. So we might be turning on the energy patterns that would be beneficial for us to resonate with. We might be turning off the energy of negative or non-coherent patterns that would be good for us to stop resonating with. And the wonderful thing about working with energy and with group energy fields is that regardless of when you find this repatterning, you can tap into it. So this field, we've created this field, and there are people that had emailed me before the session today, said they couldn't be on the call live. Could I proxy them in or include them in the session as part of the group field? Yes, absolutely. And if you're finding this recording on YouTube after the fact, you can watch this session, set your intention to be included, and receive the benefits. And if you're on the call live, you're receiving the benefits in real time, and you can come back at any other time if you feel like you need a tune-up, or if you feel like there's something more in this session for you. It's kind of like when you retake a course, or you watch a movie again, or reread a book. You don't experience it from the same place as you did originally. The second time, something else pops out at you. You get new realizations. You maybe go into a deeper level of understanding or insight. And with the repatterning, you get to shift the patterns from a different angle. So these sessions are here on YouTube. There's the archives that you can visit at any time you feel like you need a tune-up. So it's a great resource. So may I have your permission to include you as part of the group field? And if you'd like to be included in the session, you can say yes. Awesome. So I see Leanne just joined us. Welcome, Leanne. And Yugesh and Victoria, Sheila, Ray, Laurie. Awesome. Great to see you guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is just ask the group field, what do we need to start with? What's the best way for us to approach this session right now? This time, it's best for us to approach this session by doing a seat of transformation when we focus on one person to be the voice of the group. Okay, so when that's not where we're going, we need to start with some group input, just to open up the lines and see what's up for people. Yes, okay, cool. So that's where we're going to start. So let's see how we're going to do this. You can raise your hand if there's anything up for you that you would like to just sort of put into the mix, whether you have an intention, something you'd like to maybe accomplish this month, or maybe some sort of positive new possibility for you, or maybe you're faced with a challenge. Maybe there's something that you need some support around. Whatever it is, all is welcome, because in this process, we will address it. So anybody have anything that they want to add into the mix here? You can either just unmute yourself and add it in. Hey, Sherwood, good to see you. So,
I have something.
oh, hey, Leanne.
Hey, Liz. I think I'm still in the same theme as August, but it's more about because I'm moving, and it's a planned move, and it's something I want. And in moving and transition, you always have to let go.
Right.
And I am my intention is to let go with having integrated what I need, so I always think of a tapestry. So maybe you let go of things, but I'd say I'm leaving people, but I'm not letting go. You see what I'm saying? It's a transition. And so it's letting go of things and maybe the place to a new place, but it's how to bring along what is cherished, maybe with your being. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. It's definitely energetically saying positive and integrated.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're describing is, to let go of the things and the place and take with you in your heart, cherished about being there. And also it sounds like what you're talking about is maybe even maintaining relationships that you've established, even though you're going to be moving to a different location. Is that part of what you're saying?
Yeah. So I think of bridges, because I'll be back, say in the summer, or then people coming to visit me. It's moving and transition, but having bridges. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What you said is correct, but I'm talking visual kind of.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Good. So I'm just going to check. There's anything more that we need to identify from Leanne? No. Okay. So great. So we've got that. Thank you. Beautiful. And I'm just going to see. So I'm going to ask you, Leanne, to mute yourself again. And then, so Annette says, at 68, feeling guilty about standing up for my beliefs in myself to my 92-year-old father and refusing to deal with his bullying ways anymore. Okay, so let's put that into the mix here. And there was somebody else who put into the chat as well. Let's see what else. Anne is saying, general feeling of heaviness and interference, weighted down, tired and constriction, heaviness, gastrointestinal issues, want to lighten up and feel better and brighter. Okay. So let's see, we'll put that into the mix. And Tabitha, yes.
Everything everyone's already shared is totally relevant. But also, I've noticed I'm stuck in a spiral of sort of insomnia, and then I set myself like 3 hours of exercise, and then I don't do any of it. I'm exhausted, So I'm setting myself unrealistic movement goals and ending up doing nothing. And I'm a movement teacher and I feel like a hypocrite. I'm not really moving. I have to go to the kitchen to make more food, get back into bed. I'm avoiding something by some probably uncomfortable feeling, I would imagine.
So I'm just writing this down. So I'm just going to check. There's something more we need from Tabitha. No, okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. So yeah, you know, it's interesting that
In this time of year, I don't know if any other people experience insomnia more, but I seem to. I don't sleep as well when we move into the fall. And I wonder, it could be old grief. It might be, the loss of sunlight and vitamin D. I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully after this, we will all sleep better. I certainly would love that. So thank you, Tabitha. Said, deepening into more self-love. Ah, that's lovely. Yes, yes. Yugesh says, I want to open up for intimacy and love. Okay, good. So we've got this theme of love, connection. We'll see what we're going to do here. Okay. And anything else that I missed in the chat? And it's okay. I'm just going to check. There's anything more that we need to put into the mix at this time? No. Okay. So there is some more things in the chat, but we don't need them right now. So I may go back and get them later, or you may notice as we go through the session that they get worked in, even though we haven't actually focused on them, just by putting it into the field. They are part of the session. Okay, so let's see here what we need to do, how we're going to approach this. So at this time, there is a primary sharing that we need to focus on from what people have already said. Yes. So in order to start, we're going to focus on Leanne's sharing. We're going to focus on Annette's, on Anne's, on Tabitha's, Victoria's, on Yugesh. Okay, we're going to focus on Tabitha's right now. So the exhaustion, and we'll see what we need to do with that. So at this time, we need to put this into a statement to be muscle check. No, we need to move into the mandala. Okay, so I'm going through the process here and we'll see what's needed. So the overall theme, at least where we're starting with, is this of insomnia, exhaustion, not exercising, and there's another aspect, which is feeling like a hypocrite in terms of what we want in our life, who we are or who we want to be, and the actions, the behaviors that we're actually doing, and avoiding something, perhaps an uncomfortable feeling. We'll find out where we're going to go, which aspects of this we're going to look at. So we need something from orientation. So now I'm moving into the process here. There's something that we need to look at in terms of a problem here. There's a new possibility in tension we need to approach this from. There's a specific repatterning that we need to go into around this. Yes. So you can think of a repatterning as a course of inquiry around a specific topic. And there are lots of different repatternings that we can do here. And I'm just going to check to see what's the best one that we need out of all the possibilities. So it's something from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. something from H, something from I. Okay, so we're gonna do something around the theme of living in tune. So let's see, I'm gonna get that the living in tune repatternings here. So these are lovely repatternings, living in tune with your light. So let's see. So the repatterning we need is from this index, and it's something here. There are 8 options. It's number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn your fear into courage, repatterning. Nice. And it's interesting because we are in the time of the metal element here in the northern hemisphere. And in the southern hemisphere, you're in the time of the wood element. So metal, wood, and in between the two, the bridge between the two is the water element, which is about courage. And the negative aspect of the water element is fear. And so the metal element feeds the water, and the water element feeds the wood. So it's a cycle. And the metal element also controls the wood. Metal cuts wood, okay? And so it's a cycle of interconnectivity and interdependence. And so when one of those elements is off or out of balance cycle, it can show up in any one of the elements, and it can really, really cause symptoms or difficulties in our lives. So we'll see where we're going to go here. Turn your fear into courage. So we need to look at this. Let's see what's needed here. There's something we need to hear from the introduction. No, okay. So at this time, we need to identify the fears. Yes, and we need to get this from Tabitha. Yeah, okay. So Tabitha, when you think about this issue of insomnia and exhaustion, not exercising, not doing your movement, feeling like a hypocrite, wondering, you know, am I avoiding something? What's the fear that comes up for you?
There's lots. It is fear. It's obvious now. It's a fear that it's a dual fear, that I fear that I'm going to be stuck in England forever and I will never be able to move to Spain. I've nearly moved a month or so ago, but it was the wrong solution. It's the fear of being alone, I suppose. I enjoy my own company, but I've kind of done it to excess. Fear that I'll never meet like an intimate partner because I'm just too weird. What else? I fear, I'm going to basically die alone with no money, and my cats will probably eat me. It's like all those sort of really desperate fears, but there's also really the deepest fear is that I'm scared of like stepping into my power because I'll be killed. That's really what's at the root of it, I think. That sort of an older woman who's single, kind of the witch, I suppose. It's that kind of archetype. That's what I've had a lot of time to think about this with the insomnia. So I've analysed it, and I think it's that. It's just fear, and the ultimate power is of being loving. But people find me very open, very affectionate, and people find that strange. Anyway, I think it's that.
So let's check. So there's something more we need to look at. No, okay. Great. Tabitha has really voiced the underlying fears for the group. You know, you can see this in Leanne's issue about, you know, wanting to take what she cherishes with her, you know, having bridges in her transition, right? You can see it in Annette's sharing about, you know, being afraid to stand up to her father, that fear of stepping into her power. You know, and I'm wondering if, you know, this fear is feeding into that general feeling of heaviness and interference, feeling weighted down. And, you know, Victoria and Yogesh had talked about wanting to deepen into more love, open up for intimacy and love. And yet Tabitha has expressed this fear of being loving, open, and affectionate. And you can also see this in Sheila's fear that she put in the chat box about, you know, being with that person who she was afraid that she might have exposed herself to COVID with somebody who was unvaccinated. So, you know, that fear there. Yeah, so there's a lot here. And Letitia also is leaving behind the past and wants the ability to transition into new beginnings, right? So leaving behind this fear is primary here. Yeah. So let's check here. So we need to check this one. Yeah. So everybody say, I'm afraid I'll die alone with no money. Yeah, and we're resonating with that. And say, I'm scared of power because I'll be killed. Yeah, and we're resonating with that. And say, I'm afraid of being loving, open, and affectionate. Yeah, and we're resonating with that. Okay, so just take a little pause and just notice what that feels like in your body. There you notice these fears, that vibration residing in your body. And you might notice, see if you can connect it to a physical body sensation. Because what we're identifying here are energy patterns, but these patterns actually live in our bodies, right? That energy is in our body. So you might notice it in your muscles, or maybe you notice it in a tightness in your throat. You might notice it as a heaviness. So just notice where that is in your body and what you're noticing. And if it feels uncomfortable, that's normal. And the more that you can just be in that uncomfortable place, the more you can connect to that physical sensation, the more you open up the capacity to feel the full spectrum of your feelings.
And breathe it out. Okay. I'm just going to check here. We need to focus in on the sphere, feeling where it resides in our body at this time. No, okay. So just continue there to hold that. So you're not avoiding it. So you're not being disconnected from your body, so that you're embodying, inhabiting your body. Okay. Okay. Sheila just wants me to mention that the person she was with was vaccinated. Okay. So there's something else that we need to look at here. Yeah, there's another fear. And it's something from A, B, C, D. So this is a fear of the mind giving way and breaking down. Okay, interesting. So let's see what's needed there. And it's something from number 1, number 2. I am in despair. And that goes back to what Anne was describing, that heaviness, weighted down. So let's check this. Say, I am in despair. So say that out loud. And as you say it, connect with your body. And we're resonating with that. And really notice, where is that in your body? What's the body sensation? Where does that pattern live inside of you? I am in despair. And I can feel that it's kind of like the bottom falls out of my solar plexus when I say that. So there's another fear we need to look at here. Yes. And we need to look at these fears through the lens of the Chinese 5 elements. We do. So we need to look at something from the wood element. It's from the fire element. Yes. Okay. So fire element is about relationships, warmth, connection, joy. And it's something here from number 1, number 2. I'm afraid of being unsafe and unprotected. That, in relationship, what Tessa was saying about, people will think I'm weird if I'm too open and loving. Also going back to, wanting more intimacy, wanting more love, more connection, being able to make the physical move to a new place, but also maintain connection to the old place and the people there. Certainly you see this, I'm afraid of being unsafe and unprotected in Sheila's fear around the coronavirus. So let's check this. Say, I am afraid of being unsafe and unprotected. Yeah, and that's resonating. That is on. So all of these things we can switch off. And then there's something more from the fire element. There's something from the earth element, from the metal element, from the water element. Now, speaking of water, I'm gonna have a little sip. So if you have some water there, it's good to drink water while you are doing energy work. So let's see what we need next. So there is a nervous system identified here, and it's something from number 1. Yeah. So this is the sympathetic nervous system stress response that's being that's involved here. So this is an alert response neural pathway being reactivated in the present situation that still resonates because of unresolved fear from the past. So we're stuck in this this alert response, right? So what's needed here that we need to switch off is something from number 1. It's number 2. It's number 3. It's number 1 and number 2.
And this is a general check. So repeat after me. Say, I hide and isolate myself because life is so dangerous.
And we're resonating with that. And you can see that at play in what Tabitha mentioned about sort of, being alone, not really minding too much, although wanting also to have a partner, not being too alone, right? It's certainly life is dangerous. That is definitely a corona pandemic response, right? I think everybody has experienced that to one degree or another during this pandemic. So yeah, we're resonating with that. And you can see how that would they get in the way of being open and loving and affectionate, opening to new relationships, opening to a new partner, to intimacy, to love. So there's another sympathetic nervous system stress response that we need to identify. No, okay. Something from F. There's something from G. Yeah. So this is the underlying need that was not met for us in the past, which we need to resonate with now in the present in order to create new neural pathways for courage and to neutralize the fear pathways that are getting activated. So let's see what's needed. So it's something from number 1. Yeah, so it's a basic need for survival and security, right? And you can hear that security need in, I'm afraid I'm gonna have no money and die alone, right? So the need we need to switch on here that's going to help us to face the next phase of our lives with courage is something from 1 through 5. It's number 1, it's number 2, it's number 3. Okay, so everything is provided for. I just love that. That's just so reassuring. I just feel the relief in that. So let's check this. Repeat after me. Everything is provided for. Okay. So it looks like we're resonating with that. Okay. So I'm going to check that umbilically. I'm going to check this at a core level. Yeah. And we're not resonating with that. We are umbilically off for that. So not only are we not resonating with that, there is no energy for that right now. And you might notice again, you know, what it does it feel like when you say everything is provided for? Do you feel sort of like a moving towards and then a pulling away inside? Or do you feel, is there like a little voice in your head that says, yeah, but maybe you don't quite totally believe it, not fully on board with that? Just notice what that feels like. Everything is provided for. So there's another need that we need to identify. No, okay. There is a coherent aspect that we need here for to neutralize fear and move into courage. Yes. Something from A, something from B, something from C. And it's number one, it's number two. I radiate positive thoughts and health to all. That's so expansive, right? So let's check this. Say, I radiate positive thoughts and health to all. Yeah, and that is not resonating. We are off for that. So we'll switch that on. And there's another coherent pattern we need to put online here to neutralize fear with courage. Now, okay. There's something from the 5 elements, a 5-element quality that we need. Yes. So what's needed here is something from the wood element. It's fire. Yeah. So fire element, though, that relationship again. So in the Chinese 5 elements, the fire element warms up the metal, right? When you're working metal, what do? The blacksmith puts the metal in the fire so that the metal can be molded and shaped, right? When the metal is cold or frigid, it's brittle and it breaks. There's no flexibility, there's no give to it, no resilience. So the fire warms up the metal so that the metal is malleable, right? And in that state, the metal can then feed the water, which can then feed the wood. So let's see what's needed here. So it's something from number 1. It's number 2. It's number 3. So I transcend my fears. And help others rise above their fears by talking and listening, right? And I think that anytime that we are trying to make a life change, right? Moving to a new place, like Leanne and Tabitha, or moving into a new relationship, anytime we try to make a life change, what comes up are our fears that we need to transcend. We need to step through the fear, transcend them to move to that new place, whether it's a physical place outside of ourselves or whether it's a new place within ourselves, whether it's a deeper place of love, openness, affection, whether it's a deeper place of feeling safe and protected. So let's check this. So say, I transcend my fears. And I help others rise above their fears. by talking and listening. And I'm going to check that umbilically. We're umbilically off. So again, that's off at a core level. And one thing I've noticed in my relationships is that oftentimes the conversation moves into a negative spiral. People are talking about what's wrong with the world. They're talking about the pandemic. They're talking about the divisiveness in society. And there's, you know, what people are wanting is this connection, this fire element aspect of warmth and connection. But we don't know how to do that in a way that uplifts, right? That helps each other transcend our fears. So we kind of get stuck in this spiral of sort of negative, non-productive conversation, which feels like connection, but it's not an uplifting connection. And so I'm just curious to see what happens after this repatterning. Notice the quality of your conversations. Notice if you can be there and be present for the people in your life when they talk about their fears, and see if you're able to help them transcend that conversation. And it may just be you help them transcend that conversation by redirecting it. Or you may do it by listening to them and being present with them, and then maybe offering them hope, the wood element, quality of hope, so that they move out of despair. About cutting off a negative conversation. It's about helping to transcend the conversation into something that's more uplifting, that brings deeper connection. It's not about ignoring somebody's fears, but being present and listening to their fears, acknowledging, and then transcending your own fear so you can help others rise above theirs by talking and listening. Okay, so let's see what we need now. There's another 5-element quality that we need. No, okay. So we need to look at the coherent sympathetic nervous system response. We do, okay. So what's needed here is something from number 1. Yeah. So this is the coherent aspect of that alert response, that hyper vigilant alert response that creates anxiety and keeps the fear sort of vibrating within us. So what's needed here is something from 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 6, 7. Quickly locate where there is danger and who is involved. I'm just going to take a little pause here. Talking about these fears, you can feel yourself sort of leaving your body, right? So I just want you to invite you back into your body and just put your attention on your feet. And just take a few breaths. Good. Just come back into your body. And you might even notice as you check in with yourself, see if, is there a part of you that's kind of floating around out in the ethers that has disembodied? See if you can locate that part of you. And then sort of pull it back in like a balloon, bringing it down closer into your field, down into your body, so that you are fully embodied as you face your fears. That's power, being in your body as you face your fears. Okay, so let's check this. So say I quickly locate where there is danger and who is involved. Yeah, and we're not resonating with that right now. And so this is, it's a coherent aspect of the sympathetic nervous system, right? So the non-coherent aspect is being on hyper alert time because we're not resonating with being able to like really assess where we are in time and space. Is it safe? And what do I need to do? Right? So we get on this hyper alert thing like, oh, danger could be lurking anywhere. But when you resonate with, okay, I can quickly locate where there's danger, or another way to say this, I can quickly locate if there's danger, right? Because a lot of times there is no danger. So I can locate if there's danger and who's involved. I can trust my discernment to know who's safe and who's not. Going back to that, I'm afraid of being unsafe and unprotected. These sort of generalized fears that just vibrate in our body and in our field that create this sort of illogical, irrational kind of anxiety, this hyper alert stage. So bringing it down into a really practical embodied stance is, yeah, I can assess my situation here. And if there's danger, I can deal with it. And I can assess my situation. And if there's not danger, I can relax. So I don't have to be on hyper alert. Okay, so there's something more that we need to look at from this section. Is anything from here that's needed? No. So we're going to now work with an acupuncture point to shift this energy. So let's see what we need here. So the point that we need is, it's an earth point, it's a metal point, it's a water point, it's a wood point, it's a fire element. Yes, okay. So there are, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 options. Let's see. So it's the heart protector that we need to focus on. Yes, okay. So the heart protector, that's like the gate. So you think of like the heart is like the king or the queen of the kingdom, the ruler of the kingdom of your life, your heart. The heart protector is like the guard at the palace gate. Lets in friend, keeps out foe. So it gives us that sense of safety and protection. so that we can be magnanimous, open, loving, intimate. Okay, so let me go to my heart protector meridian chart here. I'm gonna. So this is called the Great Mound. It's a place of great power. It gives you a renewed sense of confidence, safety, trust, and love when you're feeling vulnerable, or when you need to call on the strength of your generational history for support and vision. Interesting, calling on the ancestors for support and vision. Beautiful. Okay. So let's see here, heart protector. So what we need with this is to work on the right side. It's the left side. So the open, vulnerable, feminine side. So the heart meridian starts like around here. Heart protector meridian. It starts like right around down here and comes through your underarm and down your fingers. So the point, what we need to work with here is a tuning for color. So we need to shine a color on this point, and the color is it's 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's indigo. Indigo. So indigo, it's calming. And let's see here. There's something more we need with this. No, okay. So I'm going to shine this indigo light on the chart here, the point on the chart. It's going to be just as if I'm shining it right there on the point on your body. So, okay. Point number 7, the Great Mound. It's a source point, and it's kind of like right here in the middle of the wrist. If you go like that, you kind of feel like there's an indentation right here. That's what we're going to work with. So I've got this indigo light. I'm going to shine it right there on the point on the chart, just as if I'm shining it right there on the point on your left wrist. And just relax and breathe. So this is called the Great Mound. In a mound, it's a burial place, burial ground for emperors. So it's a place of great power. At such a burial ground, you can call on the power of your great ancestors to protect you and to give you a sense of safety and a renewed sense of confidence and love and trust. Calling in the ancestors for that support. A mound provides you height so you can see things from a higher perspective. You can feel safe above it all, and also shift your perspective so that you see more clearly what you need for your heart to feel protected in close relationships, and for joyful expansiveness of your heart to fully express itself. This point has a calming effect. And it's also, if your heart has been wounded, your chest might tend to cave in or collapse. This point allows your chest to open and lift with strength and confidence. So this is perfect, a perfect point to increase our courage to transcend fear. Good, and that's complete. Excellent. So we'll just take a little pause, have a little sip of water. So Sharon was asking about the mound point again. Yeah, it's like right in here, if you can see that. Right here. Okay, good. Yeah. So just take a little pause and let that integrate. Maybe have a sip of water. And now we're going to go back and recheck the statements to confirm what has shifted. And I'm just going to check here. We need to check all of the statements. Yes, we do. Okay. So repeat after me. And if you can say this out loud, it's best to say it out loud because that really gives you a sense of what the shift feels like, what the change feels like. Say, I'm afraid I will die alone with no money. Yeah, and we're not resonating with that. And just blow it out. And say, I'm stepping into my power because I'll be killed. I'm not resonating with that. That is off. Just notice what that feels like in your body. You might feel some vibrating or some trembling in your muscles. You might feel some warmth in your arms or your hands or your feet. And say, I'm afraid of being loving, open, and affectionate. Yeah, and that is not resonating. That is off. Nice. Ooh, just feel the expansiveness there. And say, I'm in despair. Yeah, and that's not resonating. That is off. Good. Say, I'm afraid of being unsafe and unprotected. Yeah, and that's off. We're not resonating with that. Beautiful. And say, I hide and isolate myself because life is so dangerous. And that is off. So nice. We can step out, be seen, make connections with people, meaningful connections. And say everything is provided for. Good, and that is resonating. Awesome. Excellent. And say, I radiate positive thoughts and health to all. Good. And we're resonating with that. Wonderful. Good. Just, again, stay connected to your body. Notice what that feels like in your body. Notice if you can feel any opening or expansion there. Maybe you're feeling some relaxation. And just feel yourself radiating through your physical body, through the different levels, your emotional body, your mental body, spirit level. So you're inhabiting your physical body and your whole energy field, radiating that positivity and health. Good. And Sheila, I think this might be especially useful for you to radiate that health through your body and through your field. Okay. And say, I transcend my fears. And I help others rise above their fears by talking and listening. Good. And we're resonating with that. Wonderful. And say, I quickly locate where there is danger and who is involved. Good. We're resonating with that. Wonderful. Excellent. And just take a pause again, connecting with your breath. Just maybe move your neck a little bit, sort of unlock the occiput. Breathe out. Maybe do some stretching. And bring your attention down. Notice what feels like in your thighs. You might notice maybe there's some warmth or some vibration, maybe some trembling or quivering in the muscles in your thighs. I can feel down through my legs. I notice some tingling in my shins and in my calves. Bring your attention down your legs, through your ankles, into your feet. Feel your feet on the floor there. And just notice any tingling or warmth there in your feet. Just grounding that energy down. Good. And you might also notice in your arms and your chest, flowing down your arms to the palms of your hands. Palms of the hands, the subchakras to the heart. The flow of energy there. Flowing out. So we've opened up your physical body to hold more love, to feel safe, to open up to intimacy and love, and radiate love and health through your body, through your field. Wonderful. So there's anything more that's needed from this session? No, the session is complete. Wonderful. That's awesome. Well, great. Thank you everybody for tuning in. So I do these I do these sessions once a month on Zoom. If you'd like to be with us live, you can go to my website at liztobin.com in the events section and get on my mailing list for the Gateway to Grace calls. And I'll send you the access information for the Zoom. And if you like these sessions, you can like them on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. They'll give you an email or a notification when I post the replays. You can also find me at my website, liztobin.com. I do private sessions as well as group sessions. And I'm on Facebook. You can go to the Gateway to Grace Facebook group and get the playback info there too. So great. So I'm happy to stay on the line and answer any questions, or if you have any comments, any sharings that you'd like to share with the group, that'd be great. Good.
Thank you so much. That was really powerful.
You're welcome, Sherwood. Thank you for tuning in. Beautiful. Great.
I have a technical question. When I've done modalities similar to this in the past, they've said don't cross your legs or your hand, to not have your body parts crossed, but you've never mentioned anything like that. So I was just wondering if. Yeah,
I'm not as strict. It probably does help better if you don't have your arms or legs crossed. I don't. I make sure that I, as the practitioner, don't. But yeah, like I said, I'm not as strict. I'm more interested in, you having water and staying connected to your body. Yeah, great. Thank you. Now, Victoria said, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was absolutely exquisite and so very helpful. Blessings to you for your generosity and sharing your gifts. Great. You're most welcome. Most welcome. Beautiful. Sharon says, thank you. So healing. Annette says, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for sharing your energies. Yes. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. I do these because you guys show up. So thank you for showing up. Wonderful. And if you would like to invite your friends, you can send them the link. That would be wonderful. The more people in the group, the more energy there is for all of us. Beautiful. Ray says, thank you, ET. I will be in touch. Very good. Touche. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And we'll be back next month. You can email me at et@liztobin.com. And we'll see you next month. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to stop the recording here. Am I going to stop the recording? Yes, I am. Okay, good. Here we go.